Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's walk through the steps that we discussed in the last video for solving this system of equations. Okay, so first, we're going to try to get a 1 right here in this position. So what we're going to do is we're going to take row 1 and subtract row 2. Or we could just add row 1 and row 3, but just to illustrate that there's various options, let's do this. Row 1 minus row 2, and that's going to be our new row 1. And so we're going to end up getting this as we do so. So 3 minus 2, negative 4, minus the negative 2 is like adding 2. So you get negative 2. 1 minus 2 is like negative 1, and 4 minus 8 is like negative 4. Okay, so we end up getting this right here. All right, next, let's see what happens. We're going to take this row right here. So notice that we're kind of going for to get a 1 in position. That was what step 1 was about, was to get a 1 in position here. Then we want to get zeros down here. So we're going to take this row and we're going to pretend like this row is actually up here. And we're going to use it to play against these guys to get zeros right now. So to do that, so we're going to play against these. We're going to take, for instance, like negative 2 times this row and add it to this guy right here, to row 2. That's going to become the new row 2. And maybe we're going to multiply this row by 2 and add it to row 3. And that's going to become the new row 3. Let's see what happens when we do that. We get a 0 here as expected. Let's see. So negative 2 times negative. Let's see. So negative 2 times this guy. So positive 2 plus that negative 2 is that 2 right there. Because that was negative. Because negative 2 times. Let's see, so we got negative 2 times this negative 2 is positive. What was that? That's how we got that. So basically what we're doing is we're taking negative 2 times this row and adding it to this one. And that's how we got, that's how we're getting this right here. Okay, and then we do this operation down here. But then, so we end up getting these values when we make these operations. So we're using this row right here to play against these guys. Again, negative 2 times this row plus this one will make a 0 there. It'll also affect these values to become these right here. Also, if we take this row and multiply it by 2 and add it to that guy, that's how we get this going on right here. So that completes step 1. Notice that we have the first column looking like it should, 1, 0, 0. Next, let's get 1 into position in the next column. Now, how do we do that? Notice what I did is I just take this row and I divide it by 2. So notice you just take the row, divide it by 2, and that becomes that row. Then what you can do is you can take 2 times this row. Let's see, why would we want to do that? Because we want to use this 1 to play against this guy right here, which is above it. So that 1, if you multiply it by 2 and add it to that, it'll give you a 0. Yep. And then what are we going to do here? So this 1 right here, we want this 1 to play against that negative 1. So we just basically add to it. Add our 2 to the row 2 to row 3, and that'll be the new row 3. So in action, we'll get a 0 here, and filling out this row here using this operation right here, we're just simply add. Let's see, we're adding this, right? This to this to this, and this, and let's see. And then we add this to this, right? And that gives us a 0 there. Then we do this to what's above it right here. Notice that this column stayed the same as desired. This becomes a 0 here. And we have, this, let's see, we're doing but we're doing 2 times this row. So imagine 2 times 2 is 4, plus this -1 is 3. 2 times 8 is 16, plus that -4 is 12. Okay, so that completes step 2. Notice how we have this column looking as it should. We first got the 1 into position, then use that to play against that guy and that guy to give you zeros. Okay, now let's see where we're at. Notice that we can divide this bottom row by 2. Notice what that does. That enables us to have a 1 right here in position. Notice getting 1 in position is the last 2 times we just divided. We could have, in this case, actually, we could have taken the bottom row and added up, and we'd also would have gotten a 1 here. There's more than one way to do this. We can add rows. We just need to do some kind of row operation so that we get the thing into position. Just keep in mind that the row operations, at least right here, as we move from here to here, and we wanted to get 1 to position, we want to keep this column looking the same. So whatever we do, like if we're adding rows, maybe we just stick to adding rows down here in order to get the 1 into position if we're doing so. But in our case, it was nice. We could just divide. So here, if we just take this row and divide by 2, you get this nice bottom row. Next, let's use this row right here to, so we divided, that's how we got this bottom row. We just divided by 2. I represented that by multiplication by half. Now we're going to use this guy to play against this row and this row right here. So now keep in mind, these operations are designed so that these columns stay the same. So really, if we want, we can just plop those down immediately and just focus on what's happening over here. So, we're going to take this guy and play against right here, this 2. We'll just multiply this 1 by -2 and add it to that guy to get a 0. And sure enough, we get a 0 and we get an 8 here. Notice, because -2 times 0 plus 8 is just 8 again. Then continuing on, we can multiply this bottom row by -3 and then add it up to the top to get a 0 in the top. So notice we get a 0 up top, and we keep a 12 right here as we go, because it's just -3 times 0 plus 12, which is still 12. Okay, so look, we're done. We just finished step 3, and now we can read off what we have. We have x equals 12, y equals 8, and z equals 0. We can write this as an ordered triple: 12, 8, 0. And we've been successful at solving this system of equations. Thanks for watching.